had a red region. That's the thing that we talked about. So I kept looking at the stock market yesterday. Saudi stock market lost nearly dropped nearly 1%. In the global context, it's a big number. If the New York
it's a big.
Nasdaq drops 1%, it's big. So Saudi stock market, and a lot of it is happening because of the earnings reports that are coming from 2024. So Al Raji Bank, they published their earnings reports, so they dropped 1%. They're doing good. They're not doing really great.
Right.
So it's like they're stable at some revenue and profit point, and they're not growing. So they're not getting a lot of stock interest from people as well. ECWA Power slid 2.7%, but they reported higher than expected annual profit, which is funny. It's for miss. So that's a small technicality on the basis of which they lost 2.7%. And Sabic declined 3.1%, and that's very clearly because of the losses that they incurred in the last quarter of last year. So these are the big things, big three stocks which declined and which led to the Saudi exchange declining for a third consecutive day. So today it's closed, obviously. Friday and Saturday is closed for Saudi exchange, Tadawul. But we'll come back on Sunday.
We have some positive news though, like whereas when Saudi is falling, Dubai and Abu Dhabi markets continue to remain very resilient. So for example, in Dubai, we had Emirates NBD, which jumped 1.9%, lifting Dubai's index by 0.2%. So this is out of its mandatory cash offer for Emirates Islamic Bank. So that's exciting news. I mean, it's good to know that it's not completely into the downfall. Like there are markets that are still coming up, and I'm sure like even Saudi is going to come up eventually.
Yeah, the thing is, global markets, whenever they fall, usually Gulf markets follow the trend.
Right.
But over the last year, I've kept a very close eye on the stock market. Dubai DFM, especially the general index, DFM GI, and also the DFM SI, the Sharia index. But DFM GI is very interesting case. Last year, they went against the tide. A lot of times we saw a lot of tariffs happening, a lot of job reports coming from US. Because of that, the global markets and the US market was falling every day. But Dubai stayed stable or they did good. So it was really interesting. We'll try to dig deeper into it. Maybe we'll catch some Dubai financial market people and ask them why Dubai is doing better when the world is doing bad.
But I think it happens when you take on that position of just being the neutral force, you know, and like the state that does the business and like tries to make sure like things remain smooth, even though everybody else is up in panic.
Qatar's index, just to close this story off quickly, also dropped 0.5% because Qatar Islamic Bank's shares dropped 2.1%. Again, their financial report wasn't good as well. So it's not a market thing, it's not a global thing, it's basically the earnings report which are making the individual companies go down, and eventually it's affecting the whole market. So let's see.
Just always remember to hold and ride out the waves.
Yeah, if you don't have holding power, don't go into the stock market or any market for now. By the way, Bitcoin has also dropped below 80, and a lot of people are scared of what is going to happen.
And especially after this next story.
FBI has confirmed. Finally, we have a name behind who hacked Bybit. It's a Lazarus group, which is based in North Korea, and they're not a new name in the industry. A lot of people know them because of a lot of heists they've done over the years. So Lazarus Group is behind the biggest crypto exchange hack, that is $1.5 billion on Bybit exchange, which is Dubai headquartered. And they have a temporary license. Now they've got an in-principle approval from SCA Dubai, which will lead them to go to VARA, Virtual Assets Regulatory Authority, and become a full-fledged approved virtual asset exchange soon. So right now, the whole story has followed a very nice path, to be honest, right now. I think whenever we see some hacks, sometimes personal information goes out, sometimes people lose a lot of money from these exchanges and everything.
Right.
The only good thing throughout this story was the way the co-founder, Ben Zhu, handled everything.
Yeah.
As soon as it happened, usually we see
They
the
evade
companies,
the press
yeah,
completely.
they evade the press and they become usually, they hold themselves up, and after like 10 days, they
Yes,
come out with a
exactly,
statement.
with the statement.
He immediately went live. He
It's
was
all
like,
about taking accountability, yeah? Like there was a lot of presence
Yeah.
there immediately to like reassure people. So
Yeah.
even if you were affected, you're like, okay, like there is some kind of response. So
and
that's
also,
good.
see, cryptocurrency is all based on trust, right? It's trust on blockchain, and it doesn't have any material like presence.
Yeah.
So I think this is what Benzu realized, that I have to go out, I have to regain the trust as soon as possible. Although he saw like record withdrawals from Bybit by the people, but still he was able to come out and talk about it and said your every penny is safe, it's
And
backed up.
account, yeah.
So they went for emergency liquidation. It's a process which they used to give all the people the money back. So that's a good thing, that at least they had a backup for the money that they lost in Ethereum.
Yes.
So
I
now
think,
FBI has finally clarified that it's Lazarus Group.
Yeah. This actually, it comes with the territory, the accountability aspect. It comes with the territory of like selling something that doesn't exist. But
Yeah. But I've realized, every business you talk about, the biggest story in terms of trust that I've seen over the last 2-3 years is Boeing.
Yeah.
Boeing, the guys who make airplanes, their planes started losing doors in midair, and a lot of things was happening. And now, because of that, they have placed so much checks on their plane that they're delaying deliveries of airplanes. And people are still not trusting them. Only the guys who are starting out new, like Riyadh Air, which is a new Saudi airline, they've bought some Boeing airplanes, and they are facing delay in deliveries. Riyadh Air would have been launched by now. You would be maybe flying Riyadh Air,
Right.
but Boeing has delayed. So, trust-wise, every business, every product, every service should earn the trust of the consumer, otherwise they'll lose it. And Bybit did really great with the trust factor.
Yeah.
And I think soon enough they'll be back on their feet.
You know what's an interesting angle to this story though? It's highlighting something about a country that nobody's really talks about much because of how closed off they are. That's North Korea, DPRK.
Yeah.
Like I didn't even know that they were into they were going to. They work on cybercrime at this point, that they're actually building sophisticated networks that can hack.
Yeah.
So that is very interesting. Unless the US just wanted a dummy to blame, which
See, FBI reports, we can trust them because they're FBI, but there's always like some backing. They put out a whole detailed report. We have it in the newsletter, by the way, the link to it, so you can go and read it. They've talked about nodules, and they've also verified it through third parties. But I still think, I don't think crypto can be traced back. Like, it's very difficult. And if they've done it, kudos to you. You did a great job. But if you're like guessing, like very informed, well-educated guess, even then there's like a room for error. So let's see. Soon we'll see more updates on it.
yeah, this was one of the largest crypto thefts in history. So, yeah, I mean, two previous ones are the $615 million Ronin network hack in 2022 and the $610 million Poly network hack in 2021.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
it looks like we're increasing every year. Interesting.
Reminds me, there's this one technical thing that happened. So $1.5 billion, it was hacked because people have cold wallets. They have a physical storage where they keep their Bitcoin. And someone was trying to transfer from a cold storage to a warm storage, that is Bybit on the exchange for trading or whatever purposes. And a lot of people do that. So a lot of people who had like 1.5 billion of Ethereum cumulatively, they tried to do that, and the hackers, they created a platform which looked exactly like Bybit. So you were rerouted to that page, and then eventually you gave it to them basically. I remember last year, nearly in December, we had one guest. There was an event, Bitcoin Mina, and he was the head of it. And I remember he came, and off the record when I was outside, he didn't say anything weird, but he gave me a suggestion. I was asking him, like, how do you ensure security of all these platforms? I'm a little skeptical about crypto being stored on these places, all the exchanges that we use, server, all these
Yeah.
things. Server, the
Server.
special one that I use mostly. So his idea was always invest in whatever currency you want, and he was very bullish on Bitcoin. He was like, don't invest in anything, just invest in Bitcoin. And he was like, take that and put it into cold storage. Use it after 10 years. Trust me, you'll get something out of it. But I think right now his suggestion is not working out because it's going so much down. But his idea, I remember his idea that he's like, I save everything in cold storage. But for trading, I think you still need it on a warm storage on the platform, and then you trade. So yeah,
But always note, this is not investment advice. We are
the
not-
main thing is do your own research before, if you haven't invested in crypto, and if you have, try to make sure you have the perfect security for your crypto.
Yep.
Ensure 100 times before going onto a warm storage or on any platform and trading your currency. This is a very nice big signal for you now, and it's a very big signal for these exchanges as well to buy better cybersecurity systems.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
Like we really need to step up
Yeah.
if this is going to be the new age. I mean, tulip mania, but if this is going to be the new age, then
Also, sorry, just to like a little bit more on crypto, just to add a bit. Yesterday, there's this company, Aquafirm, and another one, I'll forget them. I'll just have open the press release in front of me. They've made the first UAE crypto payment platform. So finally, they're working with all the FNB and everything in the UAE. So most probably in a year, you'll be able to pay with crypto for your stuff.
100. Oh yes.
So this is
if I'm not wrong, I remember I saw an ad a while ago of a doctor, a dentist. I saw it on Love in Dubai. So there was a
okay.
dentist who allows payments for services in crypto.
So Happay and Aqua now have partnered to launch UAE's first fully regulated, the operational word is fully regulated by VARA, crypto payment gateway for businesses. And now you can actually use crypto through this partnership. So now, good idea.
a good
And
way
most
to
probably it'll
embrace.
become mainstream, right?
Yep.
You want it to become mainstream. Do you think, would you ever, like in the next 2 or 3 years, pay with crypto?
Why not?
Right.
Why not?
If someone has invested
The amount of
money
money
and
I'm
if they
losing
want
on
to
it now.
Yeah.
I can't pay for anything. But
if we can
Maybe.
use it, why not, right?
yeah, why not?
Last story of the day, Australia has approved Qatar Airways 25% stake buying in Virgin Australia, and it's going to boost competition. They bought it from Bain Capital despite previous tensions over Qatar's denied flight expansion requests. The deal comes with conditions, obviously, because whenever you're going to another country, there's always conditions. Ensures that Australian representation on Virgin's board and protection of customer data. So Qatar will have to be very firm on these two conditions.
Right.
And they want Australian people to get jobs as well through this merger or through this acquisition.
Reasonable.
Yeah, that's fine. Whenever someone goes to another country, that country should make sure that their people will
people
be
are
taken care of. Virgin Australia will begin long-haul flights to Doha in June this year, and they will be using aircraft leased from Qatar Airways. So the good side is that you'll get more connectivity through Qatar Airways towards Australia now. Maybe since they bought a stake, the prices will go down as well for the flights.
Right.
So end consumer will benefit eventually.
Yep. Yeah, and of course this is more flights, so you have more. The prices of your flights might go down. The quality of flights now they have to do better. Standard capitalism, now you have to do better. You have to up your game because otherwise it's not. But also interestingly for Australia, which is usually dominated by Qantas and Jetstar. They control around 65% of Australia's domestic market. So Virgin only holds 35%. But like now, this could be a nice shift to that, and have everyone has some stake, and they can like shine
I was
through.
recently at Web Summit in Qatar, Doha,
Yeah.
and there was a Qatar Airways like whole setup and exhibition stand, and it was really great. They introduced a virtual assistant. They were talking about their loyalty points and everything. I heard 1 or 2 talks, small talks, and the most important thing was they were marketing Starlink a lot.
Oh.
So every big screen, wherever they were moving the Qatar Airways logos, it was dancing and everything. everywhere they had a link to Starlink.
Starlink.
Like, oh, Starlink into Qatar Airways. So I think Virgin Australia will also get access to Starlink.
Starlink,
And
yeah.
Starlink, Qatar is the first, I think, country, which is, Qatar Airways is the first airline, and Qatar is the first country which wants all its fleet, complete fleet, to have Starlink. And they're trying to do it. They'll most probably get it done by 2026 end. Every plane from which will have a Qatar Airways logo will have a Starlink internet with it. So most probably it is going to be their USP to attract more customers. And in the start, I think they'll give deals on it, like free, maybe just to get people
yes.
and then they'll introduce like lower prices. So let's see. Qatar Airways is going great. Emirates is doing great. Whenever I mention Qatar Airways, I have to mention Emirates because it's our local airline. And if you have to choose, have you traveled in Qatar Airways or Emirates?
Actually, I have not. I think I have traveled in Qatar Airways, but I was so
Connecting
small.
flight?
Yeah, connecting flight.
Yeah. But I have traveled it in once and I loved Qatar Airways.
Really?
And then I traveled in Emirates and I loved both. To be honest, it's a very, very nice competition between these two airlines. I love the luxury that they provide you, even in the economy class. You have like a proper leg room. I flew and fly the way, don't really like it. It's a personal opinion. It's not a professional or like a learned opinion. But I think it's just Emirates spoiling you. Right? Emirates is so good in everything that it literally spoils you.
That's
So
true.
even if you
That's true.
get into a very good budget airline, you're like, maybe should have spent 200 more and gotten an Emirates ticket, right? So I think it's that. It's like UAE, Dubai. I was in Qatar and I was talking to a lot of people who live there.
Yeah.
And I was comparing stuff with them,
Yeah.
like roads, driving, this. You do that.
Yeah.
Because it was my first time in Qatar, and a lot of people, when I told them, like, oh, in Dubai, you can't do this, and they're like, nice. So, yeah, even the lane changes, because I sat in a taxi, the taxi was like, I think Dom Toretto was driving it, because he was going like this,
Yeah.
this is swishing through traffic. And it's like, if you do that in Dubai, you'll get such a big fine that your 7 generations will keep paying that fine. But I've seen that in Saudi also. The traffic is not as well managed. But Dubai, UAE, you're in a lane. It's a lot of traffic, but still, people will change lanes. There's like bad actors, but people will give an indicator and then change the lane.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of lessons from UAE and especially Dubai that these countries have to learn.
Of course. I mean, it makes sense. These are the up and coming countries. Like countries like Saudi and the UAE are already kind of up there.
Yeah.
So they're like following by example. And I'm sure like in another 4 years, we'll be talking about.
As we close, there was a very nice analogy at Web Summit that the Prime Minister of Qatar said that whenever I travel, people ask me like, how is Qatar punching above its weight? Because it's a very small country. It literally ends in half an hour if there is no traffic. So he's like, how are you punching above its weight? And he was like, we have a startup mentality as a country. And they're like, we want to disrupt the market and we'll do anything to do it. So they're like, we want to disrupt this dominance by other Middle Eastern countries. We don't want to beat them. We just want to be better ourselves. So
That's a lovely way to look at it. And like now they are going abroad, investing abroad. But it was a trend that like other countries also followed. Like the UAE and Saudi also first started by investing abroad, and then they started looking into themselves.
Very interestingly, UAE has a very well-established offices thing that Microsoft has a regional office here. Every big company has a regional office here. Every big media house has a regional office here. Saudi was like, okay, you want government contracts? Put up a regional headquarters. Qatar has announced a similar thing at Web Summit, that they have a $1 billion fund and they want you to come and set up office there, and they'll provide you with the money. So they're setting up VC companies and they're setting up startups. So they come. So every Middle Eastern countries is giving some kind of incentive for startups, for established companies to come to their country. And actually people are coming. People are coming and setting up offices in the big UAE, in the big Middle Eastern countries, Saudi, UAE, Qatar, Bahrain and Oman. BlackRock recently announced that they're going to Bahrain. So it's very nice thing that we've seen that UAE and Saudi Arabia are not the only big powers. Others are rising to the occasion.
Of course.
Thank you so much, Annika, for your input today. We'll see you on Monday. It'll be Ramadan.
Yes.
So we'll
Enjoy
see.
the Ramadan timings.
Enjoy the Ramadan timing. We'll have to wake up early. I think it's a 16-hour fast this year. So enjoy Ramadan. Enjoy all the blessings that come with it. If you're fasting, good. If you're not fasting, respect.
High protein suhoors.
Yeah, good advice. High protein. And there's this regional thing in Asia that always eat yogurt in your
Yes.
suhoor,
Yes.
so you don't get thirsty throughout the day.
Yeah, yogurt, water
Yeah.
with chia seeds, high protein,
So for
dates.
all these suggestions, you can go to Love in Dubai, and for all the business stuff that what's happening, there's a lot of markets going to be open.
Yeah.
You can come to Smashi Business, and right now we're going to do Smashi Sports Show. So if you're interested in Middle Eastern sports and what's happening in the world of Middle Eastern sports, you can tune in at 11. We'll do the Smashy Sports Show. Thank you so much for joining us today. I always say that Augustus Media has 1.34 million listeners monthly, but thankfully that has grown to 1.5 million.
Woo!
So, yes, thank you so much for listening. And if you're one of them, thank you again. And keep suggesting other people to listen to our show. We'll try to give you as much knowledge, information. No financial advice, but everything else as
Thank
possible.
you.
Thanks so
Bye-bye.
much. Take care. Bye bye.